We started out with some 12-bar blues. Nothing too fancy. Just, 12-bar blues guide sort of thing. Nothing too fancy. Now, what I did to it is first I went through and reversed it in segments. I reversed like every other segment. Let's see, how long of a segment is this? I don't fucking know. Like a couple, like an eighth note, every other eighth note or something like that. Oh no, those are quarter notes. Every other quarter note, I reversed it. And then on top of that, put some funky reverb. Nice feedback artifacting there. And that turned into this. Or more accurately, it turned into that after I put Shaper Box on it. I put Shaper Box on it and it came out like this. Nothing too fancy, I just put like one of the time patterns on it. And it kind of bangs. So I kept it that way. And that's what this final one right here is. Now the question becomes, what do you do on top of this even? And the answer, if you've been around here long enough, should be obvious. Breakcore. Should be obvious at this point. When I'm at a loss for what to do, throw a breakbeat at it. Then we bring in some bass. Just sort of mirroring the remnants of the bass line in the audio up here. And finally, we bring in some keys. Not my best work, but I think I did the best I could with it. This sketch started out very simply, actually. This sketch started out as a single percussive noise, which I put into this rhythm. It's just like a little, that kind of noise, like the tongue on top of mouth click, that sort of thing. It's one of those noises. Anyway, I organized it into a nice little 3/2 clave. Added in a bullet casing bounce, because why not? I put it in there for the hell of it, and then it just kind of worked, so I left it. Now for bass. For bass and kick, I just used an 808. I don't usually use 808s, so, interesting change of pace. Of course, it still needs more of a percussion section. So, you see this chopped up mess right here? It's not an almond break. It's actually like a loop of like all sorts of like junk noises that I've chopped up and made like interesting with the rest of those. And it's a stereo file, so it feels like it's going back and forth between the ears. It's really neat. I dig it. Once this loops around again. We'll bring in the keys. Nothing too fancy. Just like a nice little downward progression. And then a melody on top. And that's junk. Onward to the next sketch. All right, the seed for this sketch was this keyboard line. The seed for this sketch was this keyboard line. I've done it again. The seed for this sketch... Okay, now that I've remembered to unmute it. The seed for this sketch was this keyboard line right here. Pretty neat. It's at 66 beats per minute. However, my project's at 85, so it ended up being stretched out a little bit. And I told it to preserve eighth notes, but only like a third of them. So this is what that ended up sounding like. And this is just with the warping algorithm. This is just with the... Yeah, this is just messing with the warp mode of the sample. This isn't anything fancy quite yet. So on top of that, I put some echo. And some reverb. Then we brought in some percussion. This is a drum loop I found and then chopped up a little bit to get some nice little buzzes and just some nice brain scratchy noises. Then we've got bass. Hey Caroline, thank you for the drink. Now this bass tone that we're using is the hip hop pick, which some of you might remember from, you know, ages ago. I used to use it a lot more. Now I tend to default to the retro 60s because it has more character. But the hip hop pick tone in Trillion has an excellent like hiss toward the end of the sound that I was able to accentuate rather a lot with the Argent compressor right here. So I'm gonna take off the Argent compressor real quick, actually. It's pulling a lot of weight. See? It's pulling so much weight. This plugin's fucking awesome. Then we've got guitar. Nice and heavy, not too heavy. Mostly there to accentuate the rhythm. reverb on there real quick. Put it in the space. And that's ice. This sketch started out as a single note. Let me see if I can grab it right quick. Packs. There it is. This is the seed for this sketch. A single note that just rings out. So what I did is I took that and pitched it down. I pitched it down a bunch and then just had it. And then on top of that, I put the Argent compressor. Sigma Draconis in Replica XT, which does a lot of heavy lifting and basically turns it into a droning pad. I added in a frequency shifter to add in some low end, and then EQ8 to cut out some of the excess low end. And that turned into this. I just resampled it. Now, this sketch is very, very loose and free-flowing. I didn't end up having like any percussion in here. I just decided we're gonna go with a drone. We're gonna put like some notes under it and some notes over it. So underneath, I put like a bit of a bass line to give it like a little semblance of time, but also to accentuate the key that the drone is in. So, here's how that sounds. Very slow, very deliberate. But at the same time, it's slow enough that you can't really feel the meter of it. It's slow enough that it feels like it's not metered. It feels very free. And then on top of that, we've got a melody. This is the Bansuri from Native Instruments' India Spotlight collection. I just really like the way that their flutes end up sounding. Native Instruments has a lot of like really, really good sampled instruments. So like, yeah. Put some extra reverb on it. And I intentionally left it a little bit sloppy so that it further makes it feel like free and floaty. That's air. And that's all the sketches for today. So, let me save. I haven't saved this whole time. What the